What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, just another PuggyTuber, coach of your Piedmont Triad Kickers, coming at you today with our draft analysis for Season 1 of the FBL Frozen Battle League. This is a league being hosted by the homie Nitor. It is clearly his first season hosting this league, and I'm very happy that I could be here in the inaugural season of the league, especially now because, like I said, it's for a homie. This league, like most leagues, has rules, and I would say that these rules are rather standard in the sense that we get 120 points to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon, and I feel like the standard is somewhere around like 105, 110, 115, 120. So, yeah, like I said, standard. 9 to 11, standard. This is a high tier Terra, so we do get 30 points to pick Terra captains. We can pick up to 3, but you only need to have at least 1. Which I which I'm gonna tell you guys in advance kind of confused me when I was drafting because, well, none of the Terra captains are 30 points, for example. So you would think, oh, if you can only have 1, that means you might have 1 that might be the, yeah. Anyway, that kind of confused me at first, but yeah, just keep that in mind. You can have up to 3, but you only need to have 1, and you get 30 points for your Terra captains, even though none of them are worth 30 points altogether. Like, no one Terra captain is worth 30 points. This is a 7-week season followed by playoffs, so expect to see us for the next 10 weeks. Upload is required here, but we don't have like a designated day. We'll figure out a day for and by us I mean like the Piedmont Triad Kickers. We'll figure out a day just naturally. In regards to the draft order, we ended up kind of basically in the middle because we were number 6 out of 12. I guess you can call that the middle, or just the middle. I don't know, bro, because it's even numbered, but so there's technically no. You guys get the idea. 6, 7 is basically the middle. A lot of familiar faces: Omega, Twisted Games, Mystical Leafeon, Nitor, Zachmander, Zack Attack, Lucario Man, TK Sanity, Spoopy. We never been in a league with Dark Devil or Pippi, I believe, but or maybe we have been in a league with Pippi. I can't remember, but Dark Devil, I'm pretty sure we haven't. But anyway, looking forward to the competition this time around. But anyway, I think I've held you guys up long enough. We went through the rules. We just went through the draft order. So I guess the only thing I should do now is just go over what I drafted. So should it be a surprise that my first round draft pick was none other than Soul, the Cinderace? Like, I'm not even going to try to hype him up. I'm not even going to try to BS you guys. You guys already know what to expect when the freaking Piedmont Triad Kickers draft in a draft where Cinderace is allowed. 9 times out of 10, he's round 1 or round 2. Like, it never fails, like, honestly. But we picked this guy up because he's a very versatile Pokemon. In the sense that you can be offensive, you can be setup, you can be support, like you can do a little bit of everything. Because of Libero, you can actually use his 65 special attack. I've used it before, so you guys can't say that it's not usable because I have it on camera. I have it in 4K. Am I going to go through my videos and find the specifics? Absolutely not. That would take me forever. But just know, Special Cinderace does exist, and it's a thing, and it works. But for the most part, this guy's going to be like a physical wall breaker. And like I mentioned, he does get set up with like bulk up Swords Dance. And then he has a pretty wide move pool that he can use to make use of Libero. So yeah, we expect a lot from our mascot this season. Next on the team roster was my first Terra captain. I really wanted to get me a strong Terra captain like really early, so no one else could, get it before I could. And I've been wanting to use this mon in a Terra in a Terra capacity for a while, so I'm glad I can finally use it. I'm talking about none other than Terra Keldeo. So I've been wanting to use Terra Keldeo for a while. To me, the thing looks pretty fun, and on top of that, this mod is really strong offensively. So like Cinderace is a really good physical wall breaker, whereas Keldeo is going to be a very strong special wall breaker with 129 special attack and 108 speed. So he's also pretty fast too, all things considered, with pretty good bulk. Like, it's not like you're not like an Alola Mola, for example, but you're well beyond what people would classify as starter bulk at the same time. And this guy does get set up with like Calm Mind. We get Trailblaze, so then after a Trailblaze we can outspeed like base 120s and 130s and stuff like that. Basically be the fastest thing on the field. And then Calm Mind just lets us hit even harder. And then this dude has a signature move called Sacred Sword, however you say it, which basically functions like Psyshock, but it's a fighting type move instead. So you kind of can't wall this Pokemon unless you're like a Primarina or an Azumarill, but let's not talk about that. But yeah, that is Keldeo. Happy to have you on board. Next on the team roster, basically one of my favorite mythicals. Haven't used it in a very long time. I needed a steel type, and I felt like this mod would be pretty good for my team, especially considering it fills out my speed tiers. Because as you guys know, I like to have like like a quote unquote base 120, something around 110, and then something around 100. So if it's not obvious already, my next Pokemon is none other than Jirachi. Jirachi's a pretty versatile mon. Base 100 stats across the board. You love to see it. Serene Grace. Pretty great ability on this thing considering it gets a lot of moves that can make use of Serene Grace. And this mod is also pretty versatile because of the stat spread. So you can run support, you can run special, you can run physical, you can run setup. You can kind of do whatever the heck you want to do with the Jirachi. Then it also gets pretty cool moves like Wish and Healing Wish to help keep the team healthy. So like I said, Jirachi gets a whole lot of stuff. Pretty happy to have Jirachi on the team. Next on the team roster. So at this point, we don't have a spinner besides Cinderace, and yeah, I don't like. As you guys know, I don't like Cinderace being my only spinner. And this mon was still available. This mon, in my opinion, is one of the best spinners after the. Actually, I think that if I'm being honest, I think this mon is the best rapid spinner after the three elephants. So if it's not obvious, my next round draft pick was none other than Cyclizar Mars, to be more precise. I know we've been picking this guy up, well, girl, because my Cyclizar is actually a girl. I've been picking this girl up a lot lately. Listen, she's just really good at what she does. I can't help it. And we tend to always need a really good rabbit spinner. Can't help it. This thing is really good at what she does. But if it's not obvious, she's mainly here to be a spinner. Because she's a normal type, she does get like pretty cool like coverage moves she can use for like niche matchups. And this mod does get set up with like shift gear, and as you guys have seen on my channel, I have ran facade shift gear Cyclizar before, so that is definitely a thing. And in general, even on the special side, it gets pretty cool moves it can make use of. It gets pivoting, it gets like good utility moves like U-turn, knockoff, rapid spin. We can basically use this mon based on what the matchup requires, is what I'm trying to get at. It's not like a one-trick pony. Or a one-trick bike, I should say. I don't know. Anyway, that's Cyclizar, mainly here to be a rapid spinner. Next on the team roster, well, we needed some more bulk on the team besides just the Jirachi. Jirachi can be bulky for any situation for the most part. So for the next mon, I decided, you know what? Let's pick up a bulky split F mon. 2, this gives me a fairy type, and 3, I have my grounded poison. If it's not obvious, my next round pick was none other than Netero to Fezandipity, mainly here because I did want, like, okay, we have offense, but I need some bulk, and I thought this mon's a pretty good bulk, especially considering Cinderace, Jirachi, Keldeo, they would probably appreciate this thing's ability, which is Toxic Chain, and we can just, basically, we can U-turn and poison something, which is kind of funny. We don't have to click poison moves to poison stuff, and I feel like with Cinderace and Keldeo, they would probably appreciate the chip we can get on mons through that. And anything we can't poison, well, it's probably a poison type or a freaking steel type. Cinderace, Keldeo don't mind steel types. Jirachi does not mind poison types. And then everything else, you get the idea. And I think in general, this monster is like a really good, like, bulky pivot because it does get roost, so it can stay healthy. I already mentioned Toxic Chain. Poison and Fairy are actually pretty good. Offensive typings to hit stuff with, and it does get coverage like Heat Wave to hit the things it normally can't hit. And once again, we get U-turn, so we're in front of something that we just have no business being in front of, we can just U-turn. 99 speed, we're going to be faster than a lot of things. And I already mentioned this thing's pretty bulky, 125 split F, and it basically, the split F is so high, sometimes you don't even have to invest into it. You can just invest into the defense and the HP and make this thing really live like a really long time. But yeah, mainly here to be a bulky pivot for our team, Netero. Next on the team roster is my second Terra Captain, and actually the last Terra Captain I got for this team. The one, the only, Gloria Hole, the Electros. So Keldeo is 20 points, Gloria Hole is 7. I didn't really see any 10-point Terra Captains I liked. And on top of that, I already have 3 ground weaknesses, so I figured, you know what, if I'm going to get an electric type Terra Captain, why not get the one that can levitate and be, immune to ground, which helps my team defensively. And in general, Electros, like some of the other mons that I have on the team, is very versatile in the sense that it can be physical, it can be special, it gets set up, you can be, like, some common items on it are like AV leftovers. This thing has a pretty wide move pool, by the way. Now, I'm gonna be honest, more times than not, we'll probably Terra the Keldeo, but I do feel like Electros makes for a really good, like, secondary Terra Captain, just not the primary one. But yeah, that's Electros. plan to do a lot of things with this mon, depending on the matchups, of course. But if I'm being honest, more times than not, we'll probably use Keldeo. But I do have uses and high hopes for this mon. It's mainly going to be here to like help chip things down. And if there's any like matchups where like maybe set of Electros goes in, I mean, heck, why not bring it, right? But yeah, that's Electros. Next on the team roster, like, okay, we have our freaking Pheasantipity, we have this guy right here. So, we're filling out the bulk. We're filling out the bulk. Since Pheasantipity is more so a SPDF wall, I figured for the next mod, maybe we should look for a physical wall. And I noticed my team also only had Cyclizar and Cinderace for removal, so I figured, okay, let's also add a like a defogger if we can find one. So we actually managed to find ourselves a bulky physical walling defogger in the form of Pink Instinct, the Mandibuzz, who is, so like I told you guys earlier, we do have a bit of a ground weakness. I really wanted to patch that up. So between Electros and Mandibuzz, I feel like we did a pretty good job patching up the ground weakness, as well as the fact that Mandibuzz does give us defog. So we have multiple ways to remove hazards. Don't have to really worry about them too much. This thing is also a pretty good defensive wall as well, because it does have access to foul play, which is stab. So if a physical mon tries to set up in front of us, 9 times out of 10, we can just kill it with foul play because of how the move works. This guy has ability, well, girl, because it can only be female, has abilities, big pecs, overcoat, and weak armor. We probably won't use weak armor that often. Overcoat is kind of niche, so I kind of like big pecs more, because big pecs basically means you can't drop our defense. On a defensive wall, that's pretty good ability, I feel like. And it does have serviceable SPDF as well, because it is 95. So I mean, like, this thing is made to be a wall, basically, because it does get access to things like Toxic and Roost, so you can also annoy special attackers by doing that as well. We get U-turn for pivoting. I already mentioned we get defog. That's kind of all you really need on this Pokemon. 80 speed is, kind of in the middle, but it's not terrible, but it's not like great either. But yeah, that is Mandibuzz. Next on the team roster is a Mon. So the next, we have 3 more Mons left. 2 out of the next 3 I've never used before, and the one of the Mons I did use, I kind of picked it up because I needed it for typing, not because I really wanted it. But the next Mon on the roster is definitely a Mon I wanted to use, and I've never used, in the form of Ted, the Ursaluna. So if you've seen the movie Ted, you know who Ted is. But yeah, this is Ursaluna. His main ability, if not only ability we're going to be using, is Guts. We have the Cinderace on our team, so there's probably going to be no situation where we run Bulletproof. But yeah, this guy, from what I've seen when people use him, you just send him out, click buttons. That simple. Like, if it's a physical hit and it's a big one, he can probably take one and kill the thing in front of him. Special hits, well, we have a Pheasantipity for that, and maybe an Electros or a Jirachi. It kind of just depends. But yeah, this guy is mainly here just to kill stuff. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Not going to sugarcoat it. Not going to try to hype it up beyond that. He's just here to kill stuff. Yeah, that is Ted. We have 14 points left to pick up 2 more Pokemon. So the next Pokemon on the roster is a Pokemon that I've had before but didn't really want, but I kind of needed because of the typing, in the form of Usopp the Decidueye. So we did need a Ghost type, for spin blocking purposes, and in general, it's always good to have a Ghost type. 2, we did need a Grass type. I was gonna pick up maybe a Terra Dusclops right here, just to fill out use the last 3 points of my Terra captaincy. But I realized, well, we kind of need more than Dusclops. We need a freaking Decidueye. So we have a Decidueye on our team. He's a spin blocker. This guy is very versatile. Can be a special attacker or a physical attacker. It gets Roost, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I know he gets Defog. I think he gets Roost as well, but regardless, we get Giga Drain, so it's also another way we can heal ourselves. Overgrow is going to be the main ability we're going to be using. Ghosts and Grass is pretty good offensive typing, and outside of that, he also gets basically good coverage moves to hit the things that he probably wouldn't be able to hit with those 2 moves if for some reason he can't. But yeah, that's just Decidueye, mainly here to be a spin blocker. Well, an offensive spin blocker, let's put it like that, because this thing is offensive, but it can also be pretty good, bulky too. Because if you guys haven't noticed already, I do prefer my spin blockers to be, bulky, but I don't like them to be passive either, and I feel like Decidueye is really good at that. Next on the team roster, last but not least, the thumbnail probably gives it away because y'all haven't seen this Pokemon yet. We ended the draft out by picking up none other than Saint Charlos the Araquanid. If you watch One Piece, you know who you probably know who Saint Charlos is, and you more likely get the reference. If you don't watch One Piece, well, okay, I'm gonna put it like this, without going into super nerd territory. You have a group of people who wear bubbles over their heads. The first one we're introduced to, his name is Saint Charlos. without me giving you like a long convoluted story. Let's just put it like that. But anyway, we have the Araquanid, and because of this, we can finally say we've used pretty much all the Webers in draft. This guy can, so I don't really know what to expect from this thing because like stat wise it's kind of deceiving. Like I know from playing it, like this thing can definitely take special moves really, really well. The offenses are very deceptive because whenever it uses a water move because of water bubble, now it does get water absorb, which we might use in some matchups, but water bubble will probably be the main ability we use because so basically the way it works, if we click a water move, we basically have like we basically have huge power, but it's not like just for physical attacks. We can use it for like special attacks. So if we click like liquidation or hydro pump, for example, they're going to do double damage because of water bubble. We also can't be burned, and if I'm not mistaken, we take so basically, despite being water and bug, we still get the resistance to fire damage wise. And then this guy's mainly just here to be like to be a Weber, but it can also be really good offensively, and it also does get Mirror Cut, which you can pair with its really good Spit F. And even then, the 92 defense is high enough that if we invest fully into it with the HP, like this thing could take hits on both sides of the spectrum pretty well. But like I said, Araquin is mainly here to be a Weber. But yeah, guys, that is the team. We made it to the end of the draft, only 5 points left over. Do I plan to spend those 5 points? Probably not, but I mean, if it happens, well, I'll let you guys know in an update in a future battle. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys like the team, and let's look forward to a really good season. Thank you, Nitor, for having me, and thank you, everybody, for giving me your time to watch this. If you haven't done so already, please remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, everybody, peace out.